We focus on Bible prophecy each week. We call it a prophecy update, for lack of a better term. We are futurists, and that's a good thing to be. We interpret the unfulfilled portions of the book of Daniel and the revelation of Jesus Christ and all other unfulfilled prophecies as future events in a literal, physical, apocalyptic, global context. We ought to be able to see the world trending in the directions predicted by the Bible. I'm not saying that the things we talk about are the direct fulfillment of prophecy, but knowing Bible prophecy, we should be able to look at the world and see movement in that direction. So we talk about biometrics, artificial intelligence, contactless transactions, the manipulation of human DNA, increased surveillance, global government, the exponential growth of human knowledge. Those are all areas that we can derive information that corroborates the Bible. The mark of the beast is presented in the Revelation as a means by which the governments of the future will control every aspect of a person's life. With this mark, you're going to be able to participate in society. Without it, you'll be severely restricted or cut off entirely. Communist China is showing us what this looks like because they're doing it now. Their social credit system controls the lives of its citizens. The system intends to monitor, rate, and regulate the social, financial, moral, and political behaviors of citizens and even companies using a system of rewards and punishments. They provide those deemed trustworthy with benefits while disciplining those who seem untrustworthy. Trustworthy behaviors include having a good credit record, helping the poor, praising the government on social media, donating blood, being a positive influence in your neighborhood, and taking care of your elderly family. Untrustworthy behaviors include participating in anything deemed occult, insincere apologies, cheating on online games. That's the real one. Spreading rumors on the internet, posting anti-government messages on social media, and illegally protesting against the authorities. I think you can see where all that is going. Disciplines include denial of licenses, permits, and access to certain social activities, restricted access to public services, exclusions from travel, public shaming online and on television. Imagine watching TV and see your face come up. Gene Pensiero is an unworthy citizen. Watch out for him. And then they do this, I've seen this 3 or 4 times. They can add to your phone their own introduction, so when somebody calls you, it warns them that you are an untrustworthy person. And so I want to do this to all telemarketers, but that'd be the upside of this. But anyway, China's Global Times proudly reported that its social credit system had blocked more than 11 million flights and 4 million train trips from people who were behind in their payments. And so these are 15 million people who thought they could travel somewhere and were restricted from leaving. Here's a quote: "The idea is to be sure that the discredited people become bankrupt. Analysts are calling social credit draconian and digital dictatorship." COVID-19 is showing us how pliable and vulnerable we are in the West to having basic freedoms we've taken for granted, suspended, or revoked. Not a comment on whether the methods were necessary or not. I don't get into that. That's a personal thing. But I think everybody would admit that we've given up willfully, in most cases, or without thought, certain civil rights and behaviors in light of the pandemic. Those who disagree with certain policies or positions are being banned from social media. I mean, you can read a story every day about somebody who got banned because they said something about COVID-19 that was contrary to what Twitter thinks they should be saying. Our president gave us a non-choice choice on Twitter when he said, "The rule is now simple: get vaccinated or wear a mask until you do. The choice is yours." It's a very limited choice, you understand. And then a March article in the Washington Post was titled, "Vaccine passports are on the way." We've talked about this before, that without a vaccine passport, you won't be able to travel. You have to prove that you've been vaccinated. Several articles I read expressed concern that the Equality Act is pushing us towards social credit. If you haven't heard of it, and I quote, "The Equality Act is a bill that, if passed, would amend the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to prohibit discrimination on the basis of sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity in employment, housing, public accommodations, education, federally funded programs, credit, and jury service. One reporter said, in a nutshell, it tells all Americans that they must reject the reality of sex distinctions if they are to avoid social and material punishment. It does so under the pretext of adding sexual orientation and gender identity as categories to be protected against discrimination. And it applies to every aspect of life, including housing, employment, transportation, education, business, and more. Now, it passed in the House, and it's in the Senate, referred to the Judiciary Committee, where it is awaiting debate. The Alliance Defending Freedom people stated, if the Equality Act is passed, not even churches and religious schools will be safe from the government's reach. Almost every time we would talk about biblical sex and marriage, it would be a violation of the civil rights of these individuals, and we could be punished for it. That's kind of the direction it's heading in. I'm not suggesting anything political, as I just said. We need to remain sensible in discussing prophecy, not given to partisan politics or conspiracy theories. I'm reporting that governments, including ours, are moving in the direction of China's social credit system, and guess what? That's exactly what you expect from reading the Bible, because we have to be in some kind of digital system where behaviors can be controlled. And you'll see that full-blown in the Great Tribulation. Now, we, of course, believe the resurrection and the rapture of the church are imminent. That means the Lord is coming back to raise the dead in Christ and rapture living believers. Could happen any moment. Then these events will take place. The world is getting ready for them, but they won't hit until the Great Tribulation. So the question is, are you ready for that rapture? If not, get ready and stay ready and keep looking up, because ready or not, Jesus is coming.